Welcome to today's class. I'm Engineer Faith Pedro, your resource person for this training organized by the Cybersafe Foundation. We are on the week 3 of the training class, and this week we've been looking at soft skills. We've mentioned different types of soft skills, and today we are concentrating on problem solving skill, which we had earlier started, and we'll be looking at reasoning, problem solving, and ideation as part of the skills under problem solving skills that we need to know about, learn about. So first, we'll be looking at definition of terminologies. We need to know what reasoning, problem solving, and ideation is all about. So reasoning here is said to be the process of thinking about something in a logical way in order to form a conclusion or judgment. It is also the ability of the mind to think and understand things in a logical way. Please note the common word, the logical way, in a way that it makes sense. So your ability to think about something in a way, or present something, think about something in a way that makes sense is what is considered to, in order for you to form a judgment or conclusion, what is considered to be reasoning. Problem solving, on the other hand, is the act of defining a problem, determining the cause of the problem, identifying, prioritizing, and selecting alternatives for a solution and implementing a solution. This sounds plenty, right? Okay, let me just cite a little example. I get back home from work and I'm not feeling too well. Now, why am I feeling? Why am I not feeling well? I asked my son, I discovered that, oh, I'm not feeling good because I'm hungry. I've just defined the problem. The problem is that I am hungry. Now, why am I hungry? Determining the cause of the problem. Oh, why am I so hungry? I'm hungry because I've probably not eaten the whole day. And it's just dawning on me that I've not eaten, I've not had anything to eat the whole day. So I've just determined the cause of that problem, me being hungry. So what are the alternatives? I need to eat. So how do I go about selecting the alternative to solve that problem? Because solving the problem means preparing something that I can eat. So I now begin to identify, prioritize, and select alternative. One of the alternatives could be going to the market to buy food stuff that I can use to prepare a very, very sumptuous meal that I will enjoy. Another alternative might be just maybe snacking. Maybe I have some biscuit lying around, just snack on biscuit and take a bottle of maybe Coke or something. And then another alternative might just be, okay, I have this pack of noodles still lying around. Maybe I should just fix noodles, you understand? Yeah. So let's say I have these 3 alternatives. This is me identifying, prioritizing, and selecting. So now how do I select the alternative? Which one do I go for? If I am very, very hungry and I don't have the patience to go to the market to go and buy the food so that will give me that sumptuous meal, certainly that alternative will not be the best one for me, because I might just collapse on my way to the market, right? Now, let's say I have the patience and a little bit of stamina still left, and I feel that, oh, if I go to the market, I will get the best when it comes to what I will have to eat. Going to the market will give me the best, and I have the patience. I could just decide that I don't want to settle for less. Why settle for biscuit, or why settle for noodles if I can go to the market and come back and prepare more sumptuous meal? So that could just be the best alternative. So this is what is meant by identifying, prioritizing, and then selecting the alternative for the solution. So prioritize which one is more important, more urgent, then implementing the solution. After making my selection, I implement it. So my selection can be, oh, I can afford to wait. Let me go to the market and get something and come back and cook a very sumptuous pot of a pound cake. That's what I want to eat. So I can afford to wait and do that. So I would have me going to the market to get the food stuff and then the necessary condiment coming back to prepare that. I would have implemented that solution. Or Me saying, oh no, I don't have the patience, I can't go to the market, I don't have what it takes. Let me just settle for noodles, or let me just, nibble on biscuit and drink a bottle of Coke. The act of actually satisfying that hunger by eating something out of any of these selections I've listed is me implementing a solution. Because at the end of the day, what happens? I'll be filled, and that problem would have been solved. Now, ideation finally is said to be the creative process of generating, developing, and communicating new ideas, where an idea is understood as a basic element of thought that can be either visual, concrete, or abstract. Ideation comprises stages of the thought cycle, from innovation to development to actualization. So like everything, like me having, oh, now I'm hungry, oh, I need to eat. From that moment, what do I need to eat? I start having ideas. By the time I'm making my identifying the alternatives, it's still part of the ideas towards solving that problem. You understand? We are talking about problem solving here, and then how all of this connects. So that process of thinking up what I want to eat, and then identifying the alternative, and then actually selecting one, and then going out to implement it, and all of that is what is referred to as ideation, the complete cycle from thought to actualization. So now we want to look at the 7 problem-solving skills. There are 7 problem-solving skills. Number 1 says identify the issue. Be clear about what the problem is. Separate the listing of issues from the identification of interest. Now, my problem was I was hungry. I was not feeling fine. Originally, my problem was I was not feeling fine. Now, why was I not feeling fine? I was able to identify that, oh, I'm not feeling fine, not because I have malaria or typhoid, but I'm not feeling fine because I am hungry. I've been able to identify that problem. Next year, we have understand everyone's interests. Interests are the needs that you want satisfied by any given solution. We often ignore our true interests as we become attached to one particular solution. Now, they say the best solution is the one that satisfies everyone's interest. Let's say there are more than one person. It's not only me. Let's say, yes, I'm hungry. There are other members of the family that might want to eat as well. They might also be hungry, but probably they didn't have the opportunity to take something. So I should find out what would they want to eat in my selection of alternative. You understand? I should find out. Probably they might need to also fund part of the bill for the preparation of the meal. So I should be able to find out. Probably I want to eat a or but the next person wants to eat rice, or the next person wants to maybe do swallow. I should be able to identify and then come up with a common ground that everybody will be comfortable with. And they say, yeah, the best solution is the one that satisfies everyone's interest. So that common ground is what I should go for. And then list the possible solution. Brainstorm. I can brainstorm on my own, do research, bring out, or I can brainstorm with the other persons. If let's say there's no other person solving this problem, but just me, I can make calls, you understand, to find out from people that pass through similar situations like myself in that problem that I'm trying to solve, to find out how they went about theirs. So I can make such calls, brainstorm with them, get ideas. Let's say it's a common problem and you have other members of your team that are trying to solve that problem as well. You can brainstorm with members of your team to find solutions to that problem. Now, you should be able to separate the listing of options from the evaluation of the option. Brainstorming leads to you listing the options. You understand? Remember, we are talking about listing the possible solutions. So when you brainstorm, this person brings this solution, the other person brings that solution, you list the options. Then next, you evaluate the options. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages of the options listed? This is what is meant by the pros. What are the pros and the cons? Yes. So what are the advantages of this option? What are the disadvantages of this option? You list for each and every one of the options. But remember that whatever option you settle for, the advantages must outweigh the disadvantages for it to be considered optimal. So Just keep that in mind. Next, select an option. What's the best option in the balance? Is there a way to bundle a number of options together for a more satisfactory solution? What is the best option? Is the best option my option? Is the best option the next person's option? Or is there a way to marry our both options so that we can have a more satisfactory solution? Is there? So we consider all of that. And then next we have document the solutions. Don't just rely on memory problem solving, especially where it is a very technical, where it is a technical problem solving. So you must document your solution, put into paper, or you type it digitally. You type it where you can always be able to get access to it, to make reference to it where necessary. Writing it down will help you think through all the details and the implications. So you must document your solution. Now, agree on contingencies, monitoring and evaluation. What are contingencies? Those unforeseen risks that may come up. Certainly, as you're thinking of the best solution, there might just be a hitch somewhere that you've not considered. Probably you're unaware of, but it might come up in due course. So this is where contingencies come up. So we must make provision for contingencies. Oh, in case there is a hitch, this is what you will do. In case I'm supposed to go to the market, but then the weather suddenly becomes very bad and it rains, cat and dog, and I can't go to market, what's my contingency plan when it comes to fixing dinner? So you consider all of that. Then there's monitoring and evaluation. You agree on how to monitor the process of that problem solving and evaluate every outcome of it, every step of the way. So under this, we have conditions may change. Make contingency agreement about foreseeable future circumstances, if then. How will you monitor compliance and follow through? How will you check? Now we are falling back to real technical problem solving. How will you monitor? By the time the solutions have been known, we've already stated here that you should document the solution. And if you document the solution, that means you now have the solution for you to implement. So while implementing, how will you monitor that there's compliance to the documented solution? How will you monitor that and then follow through? How will you check that the people executing or implementing are actually complying to that solution that you have chosen? And then create opportunity to evaluate their agreements and their implementation. This is where you now check, oh, this is what we agreed to do. Is it the same to what you're doing? So there must be such opportunity for you to look at that, not when they would have finished implementing it, you now come up and discover that, oh, they didn't do it the right way, they did it the other way around. That wasn't what you want. So let's try it this way for 3 months and then look at it. So generally, problem solving is a process of finding solutions to difficult or complex issues, while reasoning is the act of thinking about something in a logical, sensible way. What is a problem solving? That is the difference between problem solving and reasoning, what we are looking at. Problem solving is the process of finding solutions to difficult or complex issues, while reasoning is the act of thinking about something in a logical, sensible way. Remember, I told us logical there means in a way that it makes sense. It makes sense. So that's the difference between the two. Critical thinking. We've talked about critical thinking before. We want to look at critical thinking versus reasoning. So critical thinking is a decision-making process. Specifically, critical thinking means carefully considering a problem, a claim, a question, or a situation in order to determine the best solution. Critical thinking means carefully considering a problem or a claim or a question or a situation in order to determine the best solution. That is, when you think critically, you take the time to consider all sides of an issue, not just a part of the issue. All sides, you evaluate all the evidences and imagine different scenarios and possible outcomes. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work, but the same basic critical thinking skill can be applied to all types of situations. You don't just want to solve a problem and you just go straight, and you start solving that problem. You must think critically about that problem, and then the best possible solution, the alternatives and everything, the pros and the cons, then you now make your selection. So that is what critical thinking is all about. It's a decision-making process. It is after you must have carried out critical thinking before you can now be armed with what it takes to make a decision on how to solve that problem. Reasoning skills, on the other hand, deal more with the process of getting from point A of the problem to point B, which is a solution. So reasoning skill asks you to use good sense and base your reasons on facts, evidence, or logical conclusion rather than just on your emotions. Reasoning don't Reasoning does not rely on emotions. It relies on facts. Like we say, we mentioned when we are talking about reasoning, we talk about logic, we talk about making sense. So, and one way you can prove that you are making sense is if you can base your reasons on facts that anybody can verify, or on evidences that can be checked up anywhere. So this is just what reasoning skill is all about. Now, we'll go and next and look at ideation a little bit more in detail. We've already had a definition of ideation as the entire cycle from thought, innovation, up to implementation and actualization of the entire process of evaluating the issue concerning any particular problem. So ideation and innovation are two closely related but distinct concepts. Ideation springs from its root word idea. Ideation comes from the word idea. It involves the mental process of brainstorming concepts and theories. Now, innovation involves the process of turning these newly generated ideas into a manner of doing something new or doing something that is familiar in a faster, better, cheaper, or more convenient manner. So we've gotten it. Ideation, how they connect. So ideation comes from the word idea. We've already talked about it. The entire cycle from conception of the idea to the actualization is ideation. While innovation means turning those ideas into carrying out that solution in a way that has never been carried out before, or in a way that is more efficient, in a way that is more convenient, in a way that is faster. So this is what innovation is all about. Now, still on ideation, what are the different ideation techniques? We have brainstorming, a well-known technique that leverages the interaction between a group of people to create solutions by building on one another's ideas. Now, everybody have different perspective on how they look at things. If we want to brainstorm, let's say in a class of 30, and I ask a question and there's a problem and I'm trying to get ideas, and I ask all 30 persons to give their own, provide their own ideas or solutions to the problem. At the end of the interaction, I would have gotten more or less 30 different points of view instead of maybe one or two or three. So we would have covered more ground. So that process is what is referred to as brainstorming. So at the end, this whatever solution that will be built that will come up with at the end of that session will be built on leveraging on everyone's idea that had been presented. Now, the next technique here is worst idea. The worst idea technique asks participants to come up with their worst solutions to a problem. So this is also a technique in ideation. What solutions to a problem is so that you know the decision not to make when it comes to solving that problem. You may have been considering it without even realizing it. By the time somebody comes up with mention it as the worst idea to solving that problem and gives you evidences, gives you facts. Remember, we talked about evidences and facts, under reasoning, and gives you evidences and facts why that is the worst idea. So you now look at it in a different perspective that probably you never considered before. So next we have the storyboarding. Participants create a visual story that presents their ideas and the possible outcomes of those ideas. allowing them to understand what works and what needs improvement. Participants create a visual story that present their ideas and the possible outcome of those ideas, allowing them to understand what works and what needs improvement. This is just bringing the idea, making it more understandable, not just you, but the people you might possibly be brainstorming with. Mind mapping, a visual technique that establishes relationship between the problem your team is trying to solve and potential solution. And then finally, we have here brainwriting. Brainwriting is a version of brainstorming that works well for more introverted participants. Each person has a piece of paper and 5 minutes to write down as many solutions to the problem your team wants to solve. Brainwriting might almost be like when they say introverted, that means you don't have to say it out. Like in brainstorming, most time you might need people to speak out. Oh, what's your idea? What's your take on it? What's your take on that? And they speak up. But you might have some introverted persons that are not too prone to speaking out in public or stuff. So they could just hold on to their ideas. Ask them, do you have any idea? They shake their head, no, we don't. But they do have, they might even have the best solution to that problem. So by the time you use this brainwriting ideation technique, you'll be giving such people an opportunity to also bring their input. So this involves them writing on a piece of paper what they think might be the solution to the problem the team wants to solve. By the time everybody does that, you collect it at the end of the day, you go through it, you'll be able to most likely come up with the best possible solution to your problem. Remember, we are still talking about problem solving skills, and this is where we'll end for this class. The next class will still continue on problem solving skill, and we shall be looking at complex problem solving. Thank you for staying with me to the end of this class. See you in the next class.